Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Asir Rekha Panchwani, moderator of this webinar. We are delighted to welcome you all in the webinar being organized by CCLEA and NPO Committee of ICI. It is my pleasure to be moderator in webinar on mandatory provision and regulatory requirement under RERA. This committee is focused to encourage chartered accountant to shape strategy and policy that unlock economic, financial, and social value while combining analytical foresight with the acumen. Our eminent speaker will talk mandatory provision and regulatory requirement under RERA in this webinar, and we hope that the same shall be useful to all of us. Now, our prominent speaker, Vinay Tyagraj sir, he is the fellow member of the ICI. Since 2016, he is practicing on RERA. He presented seminar at various forums on taxation, RERA across India, practicing RERA since June 2016 and gained practical experience over 6 years. He is also the guest speaker He published articles on financial RERA topics in All India Radio, Newspaper, Institute General, KSCAA, NAREDCO. He has co-authored books RERA Law and Practice Taxman publication. He served a member of technical committee of ICI. Now I would like to call Vinay Tyagraj sir to conduct this webinar. Vinay sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Rekha. Thank you very much for the introduction. And very good evening to one and all. My sincere thanks to the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for inviting me to and share about some of my knowledge and experience on this subject. Hope you can see my slide. Are you able to see the slide?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, is the slide is full screen, right? Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So before I start the session, I just wanted the organizers to enable the chat option to the members. Is the chat option is there for the members?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. And also, can I know how many members are joined at this point of time so that will I know that?
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So because the reason is like I just wanted this to be as interactive as so that like there will be a much benefit to the participants. And having said like I also have seen that there is a program on RERA yesterday. Mr. Yogesh ji from Uttar Pradesh must have presented. I do not know how many of you have attended yesterday's session, wonderful session on the RERA first and also the GST notices and something the topic was there yesterday. Having said, I just wanted to hear from the participants like how many of you are attending the RERA session first time or how many of you are already attended and how many are practicing. You can say yes, no in the chat box. How many are practicing? Somebody can say that. Disable annotation. Okay. So no chat. I just wanted to understand like is the chat is enabled for the members, participants?
Sir, actually the question box is enabled for the participants. And in the later part of the webinar, we can have the Q&A session.
Yeah, and
yes.
chat is sufficient, not the Q&A. If the chat is there,
tech support, can we open the chat for the participants? Is it possible? Yes. Please do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And do I know the participants here? Like, is that now we can't see the participants? They are in the. Oh, okay. That means to say if they put on chat, they can't see me. They can't. I can see their chats. If the members wanted to ask the question through chat, will they or can't they? Okay, please enable that, and so that like participants can send the charts, so that like, yeah, but okay. Uh-huh. What is this link? It asking username and password. And what you can see on my screen now, is it PPT only, correct? Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. So I can see that there are some questions. Is that mean in that admin panel? Okay. Is the questions are related to this, you mean to say? Okay, got it. So,
Sir, there are more than 200 participants.
perfect, perfect. I would more than happy in terms of like if they participate. Okay, so what will be the things they say that their questions are here, correct?
Yes, sir. First, we finish the webinar, then we'll take a Q&A.
No issues, no issues. No, because many would be sending the charts in terms of their whatever they wanted to say is okay, fine then. Good to see Abhishek from Noida. Hi, Abhishek. Okay, fine. So just let's look at the mandatory provisions and regulatory requirements under RERA. So a few of you are new and somebody is practicing first time, and somebody say this is my first session from Hyderabad. Good to see that. Okay, keep chatting, keep giving your input in terms of the any queries so that I can parallelly look into the chat box and also answer to your questions. Okay. So before I get into this, so I just wanted to share you why this real estate, because when we talks about the RERA, it talks about only the real estate. So uh, we should understand what is this real estate for a country. We should understand what is the real estate, the big picture, before we delve into the requirement of a regulatory requirement and why the brought all these regulations under RERA. That is a big picture we should understand before we get into the final aspect of it. I will present today about the big picture, basics of RERA, and how this RERA has transformed the real estate. What are the real regulatory requirement under RERA? To certain extent, I will deal with that because given 2 hours of session, I may not able to completely deal or explain about the complete regulatory requirement. Somebody says not audible. Is it not audible to everybody or only for two is not audible? Please clear it. Okay. And also I'll try to touch upon other laws, how it impact the RERA is also I'll explain to you. Probably if time permits, I'll also handle some of the practical case studies which will have impact on other areas of our practice. So when I say the big picture, Okay, we should understand that how this has an impact on the economy itself, the GDP, the growth of a country, and also contribution to the taxation. And that will give you some of the insight in terms of why this is very important. The regulation is why is important is to be considered. So number one, I hope you all agree that after agriculture, this is the second largest GDP contributor to the country. Second largest GDP contributor, and second highest employment creation is the real estate after agriculture again. And the first in terms of the tax to the revenue to the government. The revenue, when I say about it, just not look at the GST or the income tax. You should look at beyond that, the stamp duty which is levied by the government, respective state, and sanction plan authorities collect the plan sanction or map fees for them to permit them to develop the real estate. Those things goes to the something which goes to the local body or the corporation, something which go to the state, something would go to the central. So total in terms of the revenue is number one in terms of the income tax. In terms of the real estate is the real estate. So to that extent, there is an impact on this impact and incidence of this, the revenue to the government. And in terms of the contribution percentage, presently between 8 to 9%, it is projected about 13% to the Indian GDP. And the world's second highest number of households are in India after China. Like that, many new things which is part of the real estate. And for us to appreciate that, appreciate the concept of RERA, appreciate the regulation, appreciate the statute of RERA, we should have this as a background in terms of for us to appreciate why this RERA, how this RERA has is made the impact and the game changer in this business. I still remember when RERA introduced in 2016, stating that which is effective from 2017 May, there was a panic in the industry. Industry felt that so much of stringent regulation made difficult for this industry to perform well. Friends, in the last 8 years of implementation of RERA, the industry has grown 3 times of what was the industry when before RERA. So that is a multiplier effect. That is the impact of RERA. You can confidently say that RERA has transformed this industry itself, wherein much accountability has brought in. Transparency is there in place. Introduce a professionalism in this industry. Establish a symmetry of information. Impose certain responsibility. Establish a regulatory mechanism and dispute resolution and the governance. These are the objective of RERA also, which was probably not present when pre-RERA. Okay, it was there in a multiple pieces under multiple statute, but to bring under one umbrella, define this is the objective of RERA. This is the objective of the real estate to perform. Within these 4 corners, real estate has to perform. They made this as an act and they have brought to the industry itself. Friends, throughout this session, 2 hours, I invite you to listen about RERA by keeping these things in mind: accountability, transparency, professionalism, information, responsibility, regulatory mechanism, dispute mechanism, and the governance. Why I'm saying is, if you are the first time listener, it's very difficult for you to appreciate or very difficult to accept about provisions of RERA, because the practice of this industry is a different pre-RERA and the post-RERA. That is what you should appreciate. That will give you a bigger picture, bigger opportunity for you to think beyond what is present. So I invite you to remember these objectives throughout this session so that you appreciate provisions of RERA. Having said, What are we talking about when we talk about RERA is very important. The moment we talk about RERA, when we talk about regulatory, when we talk about regulation, when we talk about something under RERA, we talk about the project and the agent. What do you mean by project? Which is defined under RERA? Probably I will explain because I'm not explaining the fundamental basics of the definitions. I'll also during my presentation I can explain what do you mean by a project. What do you mean by registration of a project? I'll touch upon. And who is an agent? Why agent is under RERA? What it require an agent to be registered with RERA? How it plays an important role under RERA? And next, remember there is a dispute mechanism. Yes, that is called the complaint here. That means to say, if there is a dispute between the promoter and the allottee, then they go before RERA, file a complaint, and the adjudicating officer or the authority under RERA will hear the complaint and dispose it. So this is what is the aspects of RERA, wherein there is a project, there is an agent, there is a complaint. See, this is what is RERA will consider and regulate it. What does that mean, these numbers? About 1.3 lakhs crore, 1.3 lakh projects which are registered in India, about 89, probably now it become 90,000 agents, about 1.25 complaints. That means to say that now government have a data in terms of the real estate projects which are registered in India. So all along, you all know that loss of the land belongs to the state. Center did not had any idea about the projects or the real estate. Because of this RERA, every real estate project has to come under the purview of RERA. There is a mechanism of collection of the data. There is a mechanism of monitoring the progress of the data. There is a mechanism of reporting what is happening in the RERA. The government has a data with them now. Now they can monitor it from month on month, quarter on quarter. They can monitor themselves what's happening in which state, how much project which has come, and how much projects are completed, how much projects are still in the pipeline. So this gives the bigger picture to the government itself in terms of the what's happening across India in terms of the real estate. This is something which we should all appreciate the impact, appreciate the process which has brought in terms of monitoring the projects or the agents in India. Friends, now 2017 to 2024, it's about 7 years of RERA. In between 2 years of COVID, you eliminate. Prior to COVID, probably 17 to 19 is something everybody trying to understand RERA. 2 years leave, 2 years of COVID, 4 years are gone. Effectively, you can say this is the effective for the past 3 years. So imagine the 3 years this statute has made so much of impact in the industry to the large stakeholders. I'm sure another 3 years we can see changes in this industry. And also the housing needs, also the government recommendation, also the government effort in terms of making housing for all will push, will propel, will make the much more regulations of the real estate, much more opportunities for the professional, much more transparency, much more contribution as a whole in terms of the GDP or the taxes is the way forward. So having said that, this is why I brought it here is government now has a data in terms of what's happening from time to time, month on month, place to place, location to location, region to region, say south, north, east, west, what's happening. Entire data is there with them for them to monitor it. So this is the scoreboard of the Pan India. So we'll look at the regulatory requirement and also the aspects of RERA under this act. Yesterday, you had a session Mr. Yogesh ji has taken, and I'm sure that he also must have touched upon some of the aspects of this RERA. If you are attended those sessions, probably this would be a refresh or the repeat session for you. If you have anybody has any question, you can put it on the chat. How many of you attempted? How many of you have filed the application for RERA registration in your states? Say yes or no in chat. That's it. Put yes or no in the chat so that I will know that how many of you are attempted or in the practice of providing the RERA registration services to your client at your location is something you can put it into the chat. So first thing under RERA is about registration of a real estate project. When I say registration of a real estate project, you should understand what I mean by a real estate project. Then you appreciate the registration of a real estate project. Section 2 define the definition of a real estate project, wherein the land is converted into plots or land is converted into a building or building is converted into buildings is called real estate project. Section 2ZN of the RERA Act define the real estate project definition. The development of a land into plots. Remember, land into plots, land into building, building into buildings is called a real estate project. So what is important is first is the development, you should remember. Then land into plot, building into buildings, and land into building is important. Mean to say that if this activity happens on a land, then that's called a real estate project. And this real estate project is development for the purpose of selling. Say you are developing a project, real estate project, but not for the purpose of selling. Probably you wanted to retain yourself or amongst the members you wanted to retain. Then that project doesn't require a registration under RERA. So first there should be a real estate project. The intention of development of that project is for the purpose of sale. These two is an ingredient for you to register the projects under RERA. Then you may have a question, sir, do I need to register all the real estate project? The answer is yes. All the real estate project which satisfy the criteria which is there in section 3. So what is the criteria under section 3? It talks about any project. In a project, the land area is more than 500 square meters or more than 8 units. Then that project require registration under RERA. The criteria is, that means to say governments are limiting or restricting some of the projects, small projects you don't need to register. However, state government has a power to reduce the 500 square meters to less, 8 units to less. Accordingly, what West Bengal did it, they brought down 500 square meter to 200 square meters, 8 units to 6 units. That means any project which satisfy this area criteria, they have to register with RERA. That is an important aspect. So second is the project which have received the completion certificate as on 1/5/2017. That project also not required to be registered. This is the larger aspects of which project to be registered and what are the projects to be registered. Third is like in case of a development where there are no sales, then those projects need not to register under RERA. So this is the first regulatory requirement in terms of the registration. As I mentioned, what should be registered is the project should be registered. It is not about the builder, not about the developer, not about the promoter, not about the private limited company or a partnership. Under RERA, what is to be registered is a project. Example, Example for your information, say an example, Tata Group is coming out with the real estate project. What should be registered? Tata Group is a big, under Tata Group, there is a Tata Housing Private Limited. In a Tata Housing Private Limited, they have a project across India. On the company, there is a project in Chennai. So that project should be registered in the state of Chennai, that is Tamil Nadu RERA. It is not about Tata to register, it is about the project should be registered with the respective authorities, state authorities. Probably you may not see any business wherein they expect you to register the business, not the business, their activities rather than the business. Probably if you see the bank, example banks, they expect you, RBI expect you to register the banks itself. Insurance company, RBI, insurance, IRDA expect you to register the company itself, where they wanted to have a control of the company. But RERA being the regulatory authority, they're more about project to be registered rather than the promoter to be registered. So that is what you should remember, is one of the regulatory requirement under RERA. And if you ask, sir, anybody can do the project registration under RERA? Answer is yes, answer is no. Why yes? If you are having knowledge about the real estate, how the real estate works, how the real estate do its business, then you take the services of the RERA registration. If you do not understand about real estate business, probably you should read, you should understand before you advise to the clients. Please, friends, please note that RERA registration is not just a filling an information, filling an application and submitting online. We also come across various times where professionals and our fraternity friends say, sir, these informations are given by our client, sir, and we are uploaded, we are submitted, sir. The important aspect is it is not just a filling an application and submission. What information which goes is very, very critical. Probably RERA authorities may also issue the registration without much go deep into the documents you have submitted. But those information should be accurate. That information should be truthful. That information should be real, wherein developer intend to deliver that. The difference between this business and other business, can somebody say in a chart, what is the difference between the real estate business and other business? Can somebody say? So somebody say that. So real estate registration is something which is important. Understand the subject, understand the information which goes into the public portal, and then you submit it. The important aspect of the real estate RERA and any other business, real estate business and any other business is, in a real estate business, there is no product which is in existing in most of the time. And what promoter will have, what builder will have is only his idea. That idea will be shaped into a product at later point of time versus something. Say I wanted to purchase a car. When will you purchase a car? You think, you choose, then walk into any of the showroom, you go and take a test drive, then you choose it and then you book it and you also take a delivery. Versus real estate, when you book it, most of the time the real estate booking happens at the ground level where there is just a launch happens. So what is that the builder is marketing is his idea of building and developing it. So it's very important when we file an application, complete idea about the intention of the builder should be captured, and that is nothing but your specification. As a part of the application, you have to submit the specification of the project. The specification is, if you say that this is what I'll deliver, that should go into the RERA website. If something which is not deliverable, it should not go into the RERA website. It is very clear. That is what is the important. Some of the questions which is there, I will just pick up something which related to the registration. One is RERA applicable for real estate project, commercial project? Answer is yes. The definition of an apartment under section 2 is important understood. Section 2E talks about an apartment. An apartment includes whether it's called as a block, chamber, dwelling unit, flat, office, showroom, shop, godown premises, tenement, suite, anything which is there, which is defined under definition of an apartment. So apartment which include the shop, godown, or the commercial building. So even commercial is also applicable. Plotted development, residential, commercial, mixed development. Entire thing is included under RERA, and there is a small ambiguity whether industrial lands are registered to be registered under RERA or not. That is the only ambiguity. The reason is different states have taken different stand. In my opinion, if it is qualify as a definition of a real estate project, yes, even industrial fall into the real estate project definition, require a registration. So in terms of that, yes, if we get to know the information is incorrect, does it impact the person too who files the registration? Probably it's like any medicine issue given by the doctor is based on the patient's answers or patient's communication. If the patient is not communicated properly, I don't think any doctor also will give the proper treatment or the prescription. Similarly, for this also, if the builder doesn't give the proper information, what as a professional will do it? As a chartered accountant, architect, or engineer, what he can do it is a similar. But however, you should be thorough enough. You should be knowledgeable enough. One should be knowledgeable enough in terms of uh, in terms of collecting the question and giving it. Somebody say, please activate full screen mode, presentation mode. Okay, see, reason which I don't know is if I activate the full screen mode, I'm unable to see the question and answer. That is the reason I just kept it in the mode. Okay, if it is okay, I can take up your questions at later point of time. Otherwise, I can't see the chats. Because for me, without participation of the members, I get bored in terms of talking to the screen. That is the reason I requested the organizers to have the at least I'll make it very small so that like your focus is not on the slide part. Is that okay? Yeah, Pradeep, is that okay now? Yeah. So registration is an important aspect, and that is the first thing for somebody to get into the real estate at in terms of the project to be registered under RERA. Next is having registered. What is next? All the information which we are given, all the details, documents, undertaking, everything has been given. All information is perfect. Even our professionals have collected the perfect information, perfect details, documents, and submitted with RERA, made the payment of fees, and RERA also satisfied themselves and issued the RERA registration. So what do I do with the RERA registration now? Now, RERA registration is mandatory for the project to market. The promoter should not market without obtaining the RERA registration. That is the first aspect you should remember. When the clients have shown money in the books of accounts, advances collected from the customers or allottees in the real estate project, the first thing you should ask your builder client is, please give me the RERA registration number for this project where you have collected the money. And if you have noticed the money has been collected without obtaining the RERA registration, you should qualify in your audit report stating that promoter has collected the amount without obtaining the RERA registration against the project. Probably, in my view, if any of you are advising any real estate clients, either a audit, tax, consultancy, you should know about RERA. Without knowing RERA, you should not advise, even sign the financials. That is a very important aspect of it. Just a second.
Hello.
So even what is important is in terms of the project to be registered. Without that, don't collect the money. That should be the information you should tell your clients. And as I also mentioned, if you are advising any of the real estate clients without understanding RERA and its impact, then you are in a dangerous position. You should understand RERA before you advise your real estate clients, whether it's a plotted developer, whether it's a builder, apartment builder, or the row houses, villa, commercial complex. One should know about this before you advise. Whether you may be advising on the audit, whether you may be advising on the GST or the income tax, yes, you should know what RERA talks about the business and about the projects, then only you should advise. So having registered, now all are satisfied and authority is also satisfied. Promoter is a good promoter, professional who advise him is having sufficient knowledge, a more knowledge, then they obtain the RERA registration. After RERA registration, only the promoter, the builder started marketing it and collecting the money from the customer. For the purpose of marketing, the section 11 under the RERA Act mandates the promoter to display the RERA registration number. Display the RERA registration number in all the advertisement marketing collaterals is important. So, if so, what do you mean by an advertisement? Section 2, subsection B, define advertisement. It talks about means any document described or issued as advertisement through any medium. Through any medium it talks about includes notice, circular or other documents publicly or in informing the person about a real estate project or offering for sale of plot, building, apartment or inviting a person to purchase in any manner such plot, building or apartment. So it is very clear in terms of the real advertisement. The promoter should advertise only by displaying the RERA registration number. So please keep it in the mind. Without displaying on the RERA registration number, you should not market it or use any marketing brochures for the purpose of this. That is the important aspect of it. You should always remember that. And not only in terms of the printed, if you are in a social media or if it is FM report or your, what do you call that as hoarding, big hoardings, newspaper first page, everything should have a RERA registration number. And Act further talks about it is not you print on the small piece on the corner, say that this is a RERA registration number. RERA registration number should be prominently visible. That is what Act talks about. So, can you observe that to what extent this Act has taken care in terms of giving the clarity to the promoter. The advertisement which is made by the promoter should be having the RERA registration first. That should be prominently visible. Can you say what is prominently visible? Where is this defined? Anybody has experienced prominently visible? Generally, you see right in advertisement T and C. The T and C is in a small letter, and below that there is a T and C, which is further small letters in terms of that. Further small letters below that. Then what happens? So that is where RERA talks about even the registration number should be prominently visible. So what do you mean by prominently visible? Act has not been defined. However, few of the RERA authorities have given some clarification stating that what is prominently visible in any advertisement? Probably the telephone number, contact us, mail ID, or the person name. So that is what is prominently visible. So mention this RERA registration as equivalent to the size of a telephone number. That is what is we should understand. Why I'm saying is for not mentioning the RERA registration or mentioning the RERA registration which is not prominently visible, authorities already levied the penalty under section 61, stating that it is not prominently visible. So you are liable to pay a penalty under section 60, 61 for non-compliance of or contradicting the act, provisions of RERA. So that is what is important in terms of the RERA registration. How do you mention it? Section 61 gives the power to the authority to levy up to 5% of the project cost as a penalty. Friends, remember how much they can levy a penalty. Up to 5% of the project cost is what is important for us to understand that. So, probably, yes, mutual fund application is there in terms of the registration number of the mutual fund. Friends, for a mutual fund, what is the minimum limit? You can deposit even 100 rupees as a mutual fund, as an SIP. For mere 100 rupees, the government or the SEBI mandates many classes or many mandatory requirement, including the mentioning of the mutual fund registration number. Don't we feel for real estate to follow at least the best practices of these things to show their real estate project registration number, because the project would be costing about a crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore rupees. So it's very important. As a professional, we should also understand and appreciate what RERA require. So now what you have is registration number, how that to be displayed in the all your advertisement material. Perfect. Now advertisement made. People have come. You know the trend, recent trend. First day, 100% is booked. I don't know how many of you know it. If you are aware that that is a mantra. If the project which is not booked 100% on a day one or maybe one day two, day three, that project is not achieved its success. To that extent, the builders have become now. So I do not know, and I am sure that Noida is something which is very fancy about booking on the launch, and also launches are doing such a way that bring the celebrity, bring a big stage. It's like a mela. It's like a real celebration. Somebody can share about in the chat box, is that there in your state or not? In Karnataka and Bangalore, we see that large developers say that next day in the newspaper, thank you for your overwhelming response. 100% units are booked. That is the thank you message. On the second day of launch, the builders are nowadays are mentioning it. Good. I appreciate this is how the business, so that there is a motivation, there is an inspiration, and for the people who bought it also have a confidence that have invested in a project which others are also invested, so that like we can see a good return on investment or a project delivery happens. So what happens then? People have booked, pay the token advance. What could be a token advance? We call that as a booking amount. In a real estate under RERA, it talks about booking amount. What do you mean by booking amount? In general terms, I wanted to book this apartment, book this plot, book this shop in a commercial building. I'm booking an amount of 1 lakh, 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees and blocking it. So that is called a booking amount. The customer pays the booking amount to the builder. So that means to say that there is a application to be filled. So application form to be filled, and in application form your choice can be made and you can book the amount, make the payment towards that unit is called booking amount. If the booking amount is confirmed, if the booking amount is paid, if the unit is confirmed, probably there is an allotment letter to be issued by the promoter stating that yes, you have made a booking amount of 5 lakh, 10 lakh rupees. Here is allotment letter to you. So what is the process of this transaction? There is an application form, payment of booking amount, there is an allotment letter. Probably application form, booking form can be one and the same. Second, payment. Third is making a allotment letter. Who issued the allotment letter? Who issued the allotment letter? The builder issued the allotment letter to that customer, stating that this unit A05, A105 is at the first floor of the west facing is allotted to you, which having a measurement of carpet area, built up area, super built up area with the amenities, terms and conditions which is mentioned that. So booking form is issued. So booking form is paid. What is next then? So booking for money collected, say in this project 10 lakh rupees is collected from that customer. What builder will do that? Generally, what will be the money collected? We used to deposit in the bank account. Now, RERA says, yes, you have collected the money from the customers. For what purpose? For the purpose of that real estate project. Mean to say that you collected the money for the particular project. What do I do this with money? Deposit in a bank account. Of which bank account? Section 4(2) LD of the RERA Act mandates. Every project should have a separate bank account. Every project should have a separate bank account. That means while you're filing an application at the time of registration, you should have submitted a bank account stating that this is a bank account for this project, Lakeview Apartment XYZ Limited. So that is a project bank account that should be opened in a scheduled bank defined under RBI, and where the project is situated is very important. This 10 lakhs rupees check is taken. Promoter has opened already a bank account of that project and he deposited in a bank account 10 lakh rupees. And RERA says you collect 100 rupees from the customer, but mandatory you should deposit 70% in a separate account, which is a RERA account, RERA separate account. You collect 100 rupees, you deposit one account called master collection account. Automatically banks make 70% here, 30% into the operational account. The 70% is called RERA separate bank account, which is defined under section 4(2) LD of the Act. Friends, while you file an application, this 70% account should be given in a RERA registration, not the 100% account. We observe that people have given 100% account, not the 100% account. In that, now many of the RERA authorities says, okay, why the confusion? You give all the three accounts, 100% account, 70% and 30% account. So that at least I know that to which account you're depositing and to which account 70% is coming, they will be able to aware of it. So fine then, that is also deposited. 70% has come here, 30% has gone to the operational account. This 70% is called RERA separate bank account. Friends, why I'm saying it is, as a chartered accountant, as a consultant, I should aware that this 70% account is for purpose of this project only. That is RERA mentioned clearly. Friends, before RERA itself, we have something called Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which very much clearly say that whatever you collect for a specific purpose should be spent for that project only, not for any other project, not for any other reason. That is why you see that The enforcement authority for a PMLA is a ED. Many of the real estate builders are investigated by an ED because of this PMLA. It is not that they have done something illegal thing. They collected money from the customer for this project, but they have not used it. They use it other business. Say somebody has a business of shipping. He went and invested. This is called diversion of funds. Under PMLA itself was not allowed, but however we were not serious about it. But RERA now mandates it, 70% should come to the RERA separate account. That money should be used only for that project, not for any other project. As a chartered accountant, further section 4 to LD proviso talks about, as a chartered accountant, I am responsible to issue a certificate wherein promoter has deposited 70% to this account, number one. Second, this money has been withdrawn based on the percentage of completion of the project, number two. And having withdrawn the money from the bank account, this money is used only for this project. So these three should be very important and we should understand collection and deposit, withdrawal based on the percentage of completion. Third is having withdrawn, this should be used only for that project. Having withdrawn, you go and take it to some other account, no purpose, no. Your liability towards this project should come down, whether it's a current liability or a long-term liability should come down. So that is the intention of this 70%. Talking on the 70% bank account need 1 day session. I hope you understand in terms of importance of the 70%. Now what we have seen the registration of a project. We have seen the registration number, the marketing, booking, launch, collection of money, depositing of money. Are you with me? These things are all happening throughout the life cycle of the project. Now, money has been deposited, withdrawn it. Next question is, how much money I can collect it from the customer? Can I collect 100% on the upfront itself? Where RERA talks about, there is a section called section 13. RERA says, you collected the booking amount. That booking amount should not be more than 10% of the unit cost unless you enter into agreement for sale with the allottee and register that agreement of sale. Example, 1 crore is the apartment cost. You can continue to collect 10% as a booking amount only. That means 10 lakhs. The moment you wanted to collect 10 lakh, 1 rupee, you should get into an agreement. That is called agreement for sale or builders buyers agreement. And that agreement you should enter also to register with the sub-registrar. That is a mandate under section 13. Friends, this is one of the regulatory requirement. Probably this will not be seen in your books of accounts. How do you and I know that promoter has collected the money more than 10% without registering the agreement of sale? You should ask, where is the agreement for this? What is the cost of the agreement? Cost of the unit? How much you collected? Why agreement is not entered or registered? So, in your form for withdrawal of the money or the annual audit, you should ensure, you should mention the fact that the promoter has entered into an agreement with the 36 allottees, of which 34 allottees are paid more than 10% and registered the agreement. One allottee paid less than 10%, not entered into an agreement. And one allottee has paid more than 10%, but not registered the agreement. That is a qualification you should make in your certificate. Understood? Now, the agreement also registered. Consider builder has agreement also entered and also registered. started collecting money. Money is also depositing it. Having deposited, he coming to you as a professional consultant. You are also issuing the certificate and is withdrawing the money, and money has been used for the purpose of the project only. All are good, perfect. Clear? In between, to make this transaction happen, there is somebody called agent. How many of you agree that agents play a very important role? At least in the real estate project for a primary sales. See, secondary sale is different. Old house is sold to somebody, rentals are somebody. In a primary transaction, how many of you agree that agents play an important role? Anybody say that? How many units are sold through the agent? Say, I have 200 apartments in my project. How many apartments are sold through agent? Please put it in the message. Let me understand. Let me have a cup, little water. No? Okay, I will tell you. The survey talks about 70% of the sales happens through the agents, real estate agents. That real estate agent may be a small, big, or exclusive partner, 70%. So 100 apartment, 70 apartments are sold through the agent only. Agent do extensive marketing, extensive advertisements, attract the client, bring, show, make him to accept, and he gets his commission. So this is very important. Muhammad Fayaz is, sir, please repeat the questions as a CA to be asked. Okay. CA can ask only questions. Okay. We'll continue to ask the questions only. So, agent play important role. As I mentioned, 70% are through the agents. Then what do we pay to an agent? We may pay a brokerage, we may pay a commission, we may pay whatever may be for as a channel partner. So, can you pay to anyone and anybody? That is what RERA talks about. Section 9 and Section 10. If you engage any person as a broker, that broker or an agent should have been registered with RERA as an agent. Anirudh Agarwal from Ludhiana, says almost all are sold through the agents. Maybe or may not be. I say 70% is average. Good, more than 70. That means to say you are creating one more opportunity is called an agent. That agent is selling, he is taking the commission. That agent should be registered with RERA as a agent. If you remember my second slide, third slide, either project to be registered or an agent to be registered. Now, with this, are you clear? The agent should be registered with the RERA. So that is what is important. RERA agent should be registered, and that agent should have been registered with RERA. Is very important aspect for us to understand and also appreciate. That agent under RERA is eligible to take a commission if the promoter or builder pay a commission to any person who is not a registered agent under RERA, you as a professional should qualify stating that the promoter has paid the commission to an agent who is not a registered agent under RERA. If so, the authority, who is the RERA authority, levy a penalty to that promoter. You are violated Section 11, where you are obligated to engage an agent who is only registered with RERA, make a payment of commission to the RERA agent only. So, agent, who can be an agent? Anybody can be an agent. Section 9 talks about real estate agent registration. Section 10 talks about the functions and the duties of this real estate agent under the Act. Friends, all of you know that to sell 173 rupees LIC premium or the insurance premium, that person should have been passed some examination. What is that examination? What is that examination? Who conducts that examination? For 173 rupees, the person who wanted to market that insurance product should get some registration from some organization, correct? Don't we feel that when we invest 1 crore, 2 crore rupees, the person who marketed should know about this statute, should know about what is about this? That is the reason the agents are under RERA now. In few of the states, agents, I think Maharashtra, maybe at Uttar Pradesh, these agents has to attend some of the course which is prescribed by RERA. After attending the course, there is a written examination to understand their ability to appreciate and also communicate about RERA to the customer. Then they have to pass and issue the certificate, agent certificate. Without that agent certificate, he cannot register training certificate, he cannot get the RERA registration. Without RERA registration, you should not pay commission to him. Understood? Now, we have seen the agent, customer paid, builder collected, deposited the money. Good, there is a construction which is going on regularly. How do I know that you are doing the construction or not? Now, authority says that, fine, you are perfect gentleman, you are too good. Please submit the report to me. What's happening in the project? What's happening in the project? Please submit a report to me. That is where it talks about quarterly progress report, QPR, quarterly progress report. What is this quarterly progress report? Like a GST, income tax, TDS, PT, PF, ESI. This is also one RERA quarterly progress report. What is this quarterly progress reports? You will have it. It talks about at the time of registration, remember 200 apartments in my project. Remember, in 200 apartment, you are given some specifications. Are you remember that also? There is a ground plus 8 floors I am constructing. There is a swimming pool, there is a clubhouse, there is an amenity center. I am giving this, that. Remember everything? What you offered? Now RERA talks about, yes, you offered all those things and you have given those information to me at the time of registration. Can you give me what is the status of those work, activities, promises? That is called quarterly progress report. You say out of 200 units, how many units are booked? How much is the value of the each unit? Say 1 crore rupees per unit. How much you collected? Say 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs you collected. Give me that information. How much money deposited into the RERA account? Give me that information. How much money withdrawn from the project bank account? Give me the information. What is the closing balance? This is the one information about sold, unsold unit, collection, withdrawal and deposit. That is the one thing. Other set of information. What is happening at the project? Construction, right? Development should happen, right? How much floors you build, how much flooring you have done, how much pillars you have done, what is the status of it? Overall, I have completed 22% of the entire project. 22% project is completed. Very good. We are too ahead of what is the promised date you are given. Customers are paying, you also borrowed money, you also constructing in a super fast manner. Good. Go ahead and do it. Apart from this, RERA also says, any litigation during this period, please submit that what is the litigation you have it. Any complaints from the customer, please submit why the complaint is. This is part of the quarterly progress report. Read section 11. Again, which talks about a promoter shall submit a quarterly update or a progress report in a manner the rules or the authorities are framed is what is important. Any approvals you are taken, please update to me. This is what is about quarterly progress report. This is a one more opportunity for the chartered accountants. I'm sure, I'm confident our professional friends do a fantastic work as a chartered accountants under the RERA for the quarterly update. Govind Prasad Jain, this is a second opportunity. First is consultancy advisory. Another is registration of the project. Third is issuance of CA certificate for the purpose of withdrawal of the fund from the 70%. Fourth opportunity is quarterly update progress. While you issue the quarterly progress report, please understand and verify other informations also, not just only dumping the data. Dumping the data is one thing. Ensure the data is correct. Data has come from your genuine source. Books of accounts are maintained. Other informations are available with the promoter while issuing the certificate. This is one more professional opportunity. Along with quarterly progress report, authorities insist you to submit the professional certificates. So, who are the professionals here involved? In this slide, can you see there is involvement of professionals, architect, chartered accountant, and an engineer, ACE. You should remember these three professionals should issue a certificate about the quarterly progress and submit along with the quarterly progress. So not only a chartered accountant, architect and engineers also play an important role under RERA in terms of certifying the progress of the project, eligibility to withdraw the money from the project. That is called involvement of professionals. Good. Client is very honest, very clear. You maintain books of accounts. Some of our friends would have been advised them properly, including books of account, taxation. Yes, perfect. All. Partha Kamal Sen saying that, sir, this information is it available on the public portal? Answer is yes, in most of the states. You can see last quarter 100 units are sold. This unit 110 unit is sold. Last year 22% progress was there. This quarter is 34% is there. Yes, to certain way it is visible to the public domain. That means to say, remember there is a objective of bringing the transparency in my second slide. Objective of RERA. This is a transparency. This industry has made it mandatory to follow as a part of the regulatory mechanism. Transparency objective, this is a transparency. Professional involvement is there. Accountability, remember. Now professionals are also accountable along with your builder and developer as a promoter. Bringing an accountability under the act is the hallmark of RERA. Hallmark of RERA is about accountability, responsibility, financial commitment is hallmark objectives of RERA. What is important. Now, you also issued the certificate. You also got your fees as a chartered accountant. Very good client. He pays a good amount of fees to you. We also collected. We also happy. And project is progressing. 1 year is completed. Next what? Next what? 1 year is completed. Then RERA requires the promoter to file the annual audit. Where is there in the Act? Proviso 3 to the Section 4 to LD talks about annual audit. What annual audit talks about? Every promoter of a project shall file an audit under RERA, file a report under RERA, wherein it is certified by a chartered accountant, certifying the amount realized from the allottees, amount withdrawn from the allottees in proportion to the percentage of completion of the project. This is a one more opportunity as a chartered accountant. Nobody has this opportunity. So as a chartered accountant, I am responsible. Also, I am eligible to issue a audit under RERA certificate. These formats are notified by the respective states. Some state talks Form 5, some state talks about Form 7. So, respective states gives the format of this annual audit. So you should understand RERA before you certify it. It is not filling those two blanks and issue the certificate because it's very dangerous. It talks about I, Vinay Thagraj, a chartered accountant holding certificate of practice, partner at Venu and Vinay Chartered Accountant residing at so and so and so and so, have verified the books of accounts maintained by the promoter of the project, and I herewith certify that all the compliances under RERA is complied by the promoter for the year 24, 25, 23, 24. Below that, total amount collected, withdrawn, and percentage. We forget about the first para about all the provisions of RERA is complied. We focus only on these two numbers. Is very important. What is other compliances? Whether he received the certificate without, withdrawn the money without certificate, whether he has registered the project before marketing, whether he is showing the registration number properly, whether he has deposited the money into 70% account, whether agreement of sale is entered or not before collecting more than 10%. These are all the various provisions of the act which are all to be complied by the promoter. That should be covered under the annual audit under RERA. This is the important crux of our annual audit. So while issuing this annual audit, as a professional, I should know about RERA. Without that, we cannot issue this certificate. Is what is my experience. The more you know, the more to know is the mantra under RERA. There is no limitations for you to know it. So that is an important aspect. Now annual audit is also ready. So what is the due date for annual audit? Due date for annual audit is 6 months from the end of the financial year. That means what is the annual audit due date? March is the financial year end. 6 months is September 30th is the end for the financial year. You obtain the audit report under RERA for a particular project. You submit. Probably few authorities say that submit along with the quarterly update. Few will say that due date is mentioned 15th October. Somebody say that 30th September itself. Somebody says 22nd of October, January. It all notified by the respective states. But Act says about 30th September. Probably 30th September is something still our books of accounts are not done. Our filing of IT returns is extended or is due date is up to October. These are all the relevant based on that authority has given some of the direction. So one more opportunity you have seen now. What is that opportunity? Annual audit under RERA. The project is progressing. It's going very good. Now, under RERA, the moment you book majority booking, what is majority? According to you, what is the definition of a majority? More than 50% is called majority. You all seen what happened in Haryana. More than majority as BJP has taken the seat, right? So that is 51%. 50 plus is called majority. The moment you have the majority, you should enable the formation of an association of allotee. Section 14 talks about you enable the formation of an association of allotee. The moment you are booked, receive the booking of more than 50% is the promoter's responsibility. Generally, when do we enable the formation of an association? We go when? After completion of the project, after sale of everything. That is how we do it. But RERA mandates the moment 51% majority bookings are done, how to have the formation of an association. Friends, in your states, under which act you form the association? Can somebody say? Which are the act which the association form the association? You also know that something called association contribution of common area management maintenance fee attracts GST. I'm talking about that association. So that is what is important for us to understand. Ashok Pradhan is asking, is the RERA annual audit report equivalent to tax audit report? Due date return is 31st. No. Mr. Ashok Rao Pradhan. Act talks about 6 months from the end of the quarter, end of the financial year. That means 30th September. Nothing to do with the tax audit. The report is different in terms of the content. State to state differs, and states also given the due date for submission of the annual audit report. Say in Karnataka it is 30th September, AP it is 22nd, 21st of January of next year. Most of other state 15 to 22nd is what is the due date is mentioned. No formation of an association, I was telling, nobody has posted which under which act they will say. There is an apartment ownership act. There is a specific association act is there for the apartment. It is a society registration in which state, sir? Anirudh Agarwal. In which state it says Society Registration Act? Indian Trust Act. Generally, it comes under Apartment Ownership Act. In the Apartment Ownership Act, they have given the competent authority, who would be the competent authority. So accordingly, it would be registered. Have you seen the regulatory requirement of RERA under RERA? These are all the regulatory requirement. Who is a regulatory under RERA? Who is a regulatory authority? They are called Real Estate Regulatory Authority, RERA. Who is appointed these authorities? A state government. How state government got a power? Act is a central act. Central act has given a power to the state to establish an authority called Real Estate Regulatory Authority and appoint the chairperson and the members to this authority for the purpose of regulation and development of the act. Is what is that this authority is thus. So can you see that now we have seen the formation of association? How much is the booking now done? 50%, more than 50% of the units are booked. Is something which is important. Now, very much important is about the carpet area. What do you mean by this carpet area? What was the practice prior to RERA? In an apartment, how do I sell it? What is the area, unit of measurement under RERA? Prior to RERA, can somebody to write in a chart? How we used to sell? Have you heard about? I'll continue. You type it under how we used to sell the apartments. What is the unit of measurement? Now it is carpet area. Before that, what is that? You should say. And if you are Rajesh Agarwal, I'll explain you about the landowners also. So carpet area is defined under the act. Friends, you may not follow, you may not practice real estate, RERA, but you may advise to your real estate client, say GST, say income tax. You should know about carpet area. GST mandates bifurcation of the ITC based on the carpet area. Income tax, 80IB exemptions are given under carpet area. PMAY schemes are under carpet area. So now everything is now streamlined, called carpet area. Earlier it is called, nobody has posted. I think nobody has purchased the apartment or not aware of it. It's a built up area, a super built up area, saleable area. Yeah, somebody has mentioned. Thank you. Right? What is built up area? What is super built up area? What is saleable area? How do you measure it? You tell me how many of you measure the super built up area in an apartment you purchased or you are living, or your customers are purchased, or your builders are developing, or your families or friends have purchased. Honestly tell me how many have purchased it? How many have measured the super built up area? Can you measure the super built up area? Probably no. You will not have the answer to the super built up area measurement. Remember objective of RERA? Standardization in the practice of business. That is where RERA brought in concept of carpet area. You go to Jammu and Kashmir, come to Kanyakumari, go to Ahmedabad, go to Kolkata. You sell your project, sell your real estate project using only a carpet area as a unit of measurement. Yes, sir, square feet, but what is square feet is arrived at? Super built up area, carpet area. That's what I'm talking about. Carpet area is a area, net usable area in an apartment, excluding the external walls, including only internal walls, excluding the shaft area, service area, veranda is called carpet area. Simply, the carpet you lay in any apartment is called carpet area. Why I'm telling you is, friends, carpet area is a unit of measurement. This carpet area should be mentioned from the registration till the sale deed is an important aspect. Most of the stamp duties registration act is amended to define the value per square feet of carpet area versus value per square feet of super built up area. That is an important aspect. As a chartered accountant, I should know. Pratham Kala, Partha Kala, Kamal Sen talks about including common space, that is called super built up area. What I'm trying to tell you is, how many of you have made an effort to understand super built up area and you have checked, yes, 1500 square feet of super built up area is perfect. This is what I got it. At least under RERA, you know that 1000 square feet of carpet area, I got it, I can measure it. 500 square feet of common area, I don't know whether it's 500, 400, 300, I don't know, but I'm making the payment. So this is what is important in terms of the carpet area. It's a game changer in the industry itself. Super built up area may come to 7,000 rupees. Carpet area may become 10,000 rupees. When you compare two projects, you may choose to purchase a property where carpet area is 11,000 rupees versus 6,000 rupees of a super built up area. The loading factor is different. Common area loading may be more. That is a difference. The objective of bringing the standardization is achieved by way of introducing the carpet area under RERA for a real estate business and a transaction is important. And friends, when you look at the document, look at what is the carpet area. Advise your clients based on the carpet area is important. And further in agreement of sale also says that if the carpet area declared in the registration is delivered less, then you should compensate proportionately. Delivered more, up to 3%, there is no compensation you can claim from the customer. More than 3% you can claim. That means to say, you should educate the builder, sir, you say this is a carpet area. Please ensure this is what to be delivered to the customer, failing which you have to compensate for any short of delivery of the carpet area. This is what is important. So this is the regulatory requirement under RERA, which is a transformation in the real estate business post RERA. We'll go to the next slide in terms of what's happening. You're perfect, your client is good and extremely doing good and very good builder, reputed builder, you honored everything. Then what happened? You say landowner. Where the landowner comes? In case of it is my own property, there is no question of landowner. I'm the landowner, I'm the builder, developer, everything. In case of a development agreement, landowner belongs to somebody, developer is somebody. This landowner has given the joint development agreement to the builder. We should understand what is to be required, which I said in my earlier slide. What is to be required to be registered? The project should be registered. It is not the landowner, it is not the developer or the builder. What should be registered? It should be the project should be registered. In a project, there is a land, there is a development. I don't care as an authority who does what and what belongs to whom. For me, project is a project which comes with the land, with the development. Most of the authorities made sure that landowner is also a promoter. There is no difference between a landowner and a developer under RERA. Both are equally responsible for the purpose of RERA. However, you have a civil contract. You have a contract of agreement, joint development agreement. There you have specified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your obligation. This is my obligation. This is your right. This is my right. You enforce that document. But RERA talks about one and the same. Is what is important for us to understand. And Prajwal Khanal is saying one of the developer raises the demand basis on the super built up area. However, carpet area is mentioned in the apartment. Is this amount non-compliance? Yes. When say carpet area, mention the carpet area. You can mention super built up area. There is no wrong in that, but carpet area is very important. The reason is probably that builder has not advised properly by their professional. The impact of non-following this, non-compliance of this is important. Here is an opportunity for you to go and talk to the client. Sir, RERA is important. Compliances are very critical. Failing with section 59, 60, 61, 62, penalty could be levied by the authority, which ranges from 1% goes up to 10% of what? Of the estimated cost of the project is something what you have to communicate, train them, educate them, take the services from them. Is a professional opportunity for you. Is what is that important. Friends, now, where were we? Landowner, right? Landowner is also equally important. That is why landowner give the affidavit. You may have a question, sir, landowner don't know anything. That is why he's given the development to the land, to the promoter. How can you make the landowner responsible? That is why I tell you, refer back to the agreement you entered as a landowner with the developer. Because you entered into an agreement with the developer, I as a customer am coming and purchasing this. You cause us that construction. You are the responsible to for that project. That is why you are also a promoter. You agreed something, right? There is a specification in your joint development agreement. There is some responsibility casted on both of you. There is a end date which is given in the agreement. Because I relied on that you as a landowner, you also insist the compliance of those clauses in the joint development agreement. Hence, I purchased this as a customer. Many case laws are there, which is given by the RERA authorities, wherein authority directed the landowner, you complete it. Except the recent UP High Court order stating that landowner is not the promoter under the L&T case, where Jayaprakash Limited, JP Associate Limited is a landowner, which is before NCLT. Probably this case may be challenged before the Supreme Court. Is what is that my opinion. So landowner plays a very important aspect. And furthermore, please remember, landowner amount also should be deposited to the RERA project account. Act mandates to deposit the amount only to a one separate bank account which is maintained for the purpose of the project. Even landowner money should also come there. How much? 70%. You may have a question, sir, which landowner will accept this, sir? That is why you as a professional, you should advise your builder client or a landowner client before they get into a JD. This is a provision under RERA. How do you structure it? How do you advise it? How do you create a trust between them? What is the modus operandi to withdraw the money? These are all very important. Under RERA, you give an advisory services to your clients because somebody sent a message stating, sir, what are the opportunities under RERA? If you start practicing, there is no end to opportunities under RERA. That is what is my experience in last 7 years of my practice. Landowners are also responsible under the Act. Understood? So next, project is developing. Something happened. Something happened to the promoter. He invested in one more project, which is there in Manipur. Manipur is unrest, that project is blocked there. Because of that stress, this project is delayed. This project is delaying the completion of development. So, what happened? If the project is delayed, then what happens? If the project is delayed, then under RERA, section 13, again refer to the respective rule, which talks about in case of a delayed, both are liable to pay the delayed interest. How much is the delayed rate of interest? MCLR, SBI MCLR plus 2% is the delayed interest. If a builder, I delayed completion of the project, I pay this interest. You as an allotee, you are not paid the installment. If you are delayed, you also pay the same rate of interest. Is something important for us to understand in order to bring the standardization. Earlier, what was the pre-RERA practice? Builder, I used to charge 12%, 15%, 18% rate of interest for the delayed payment of installment. And if I delayed as a customer, as a builder, I used to pay 5 rupees, 10 rupees square feet for the delay. Probably that is how pre-RERA, but post-RERA delayed interest is mandatory. Friends, that is where you and I come to play in terms of educating the promoter. Sir, I know all your projects are completed within due date of 24 months. Still, I'll say you put 36 months as the end date at the application for registration. There is a start date, there is an end date. Ensure that this sufficient time is mentioned as per the registration itself, so that you can protect your interest in case of a delay of the completion of the project. Many a time government problem, NGT problem, pollution control problem, political unrest, material, big is the COVID. So this is what is as a chartered accountant. If you know, if I know, I can guide, I can advise the client builder appropriately. This is what is important. This is a requirement of a regulatory aspects. Understood? Then project is there, project is completed, good money has been collected, and RERA mandates the 5 years of a defect liability. What do you mean by defect liability? The defect in a structure, defect in the workmanship, defect in material supplied, and obligation of the promoter. It covers all aspects of a defect liability. How many years? 5 years. Can you see there is a standardization? Objective of the act talks about the standardization. Promoter is accountable for now 5 years. Sir, you purchase this mobile phone by paying 8,500 rupees. Don't you ask 1 year of warranty? This is a movable. Don't you that immovable property, at least I invest my lifetime of the time, I need little more guarantee, warranty of a defect. That is what is important. And certainly this defect liability is a 5 years. There is an increased cost for the builder also. How much? Probably 50 rupees per square feet or 100 rupees square feet. Nowadays, we are recommending to the builder, sir, keep 100 rupees square feet as an additional liability towards the defect for the next 5 years. Include that as part of your line item in the cost. That is what is important for us to advise. Of course, title defect is that it's a lifetime warranty, perpetuity. Whose lifetime? Is the builder lifetime or my lifetime? Act talks about the lifetime of the promoter. That's what is important for us to know. Further, the act mandates for the promoter to obtain under section 16 of the RERA Act, title insurance, construction insurance. The reason is it's good for the builder also. Obtain the construction insurance. For 100 crore project, the premium is only 5 lakh rupees as a construction. Better to take by spending 5 lakh rupees, you are protected with 100 crore of project in case of eventuality of earthquake, XYZ. So, as a builder, I should take it. As a consultant, you should advise, sir, please take the insurance. As a customer, also, you should say, sir, have you obtained the insurance on the construction? That's what is important. That has brought the RERA as a standardization business practice, accountability for the delivery, accountability for your action is something which is very important. Now, good, everything is going. You know, in any apartment, there are one or two customers who are nagging customers. They'll keep fighting for everything. Probably builder may be correct in this case, but the customer says, no, I'm not happy with that. I'm that done this. I wanted to file a complaint. Where will you go? Section 79 of the Act bar the jurisdiction of a civil court. That means say you should go before either the RERA or the Consumer Protection Act. It bars the civil court jurisdiction. Remember, speed dispute resolution is one of the objective of RERA. Accordingly, there is an adjudicating officer and the RERA authority to adjudicate the complaints under RERA. And they're supposed to dispose within 60 days after filing a complaint. Can you say within 60 days? Probably 90 days, 120 days. Unless civil court takes ages and the generation to complete. This is what is important for us to know about it. Friends, as a chartered accountant, you can practice, I can practice, appear before the adjudicating officer, appear before the tribunal, appear before the authority to represent. Under section 56 of the RERA Act, powers are given for a chartered accountant. Is what we should also know about it. These are all the regulatory requirement under RERA. Friends, in spite of these things, we know how this industry listen to the professionals. How this industry listens to the professionals. Some bad promoters or promoter don't want to listen to the professionals. They don't want to compensate to the professionals. They do some mistakes. What happens? Anybody who don't listen has to face the consequences. What is the consequence? Section 59, 60, 61, 62, 63. Pay the penalty. How much is the penalty? Which may extend up to 5% of the project cost and 10% of the project cost in case of a non-registration. Imagine 5% of the project cost. Forget about 5%, even 1% of the project cost. What does that mean? I have a 100 apartment project. My land cost, development cost, put together 70 crore rupees. I'm selling 1 crore rupees my apartment so that I'll realize 100 crores. My project cost, land and development is 70 crores. 1% how much? 70 lakhs. In few states, authority has levied 1%, 2%. In my own state, authority has levied 0.5% for non-filing the annual audit. There are notice issued for 1.3 crores, notice issued for 87 lakhs, notice issued for 1.8 crores. Because of their project cost is 180 crores. What do I see? Sir, minimum plotted development project cost is 2 crores. 1% is how much? 2 lakhs. You tell that promoter, give me that 2 lakh rupees to me. from the day one, I will take care of entire your project. There is an opportunity for everybody. That is how you should also project or represent before the customers, also promoters, builders. For the purpose of levying of the penalty, authority collect estimate cost of the project at the time of registration of the project itself. Remember, registration is the first step in the RERA. You should provide estimate cost of the land, estimate cost of the development. This will enable the promoter to withdraw the money from time to time. Second objective, authority levy a penalty based on that. Friends, honestly tell me, how many promoters put an effort to calculate the estimated cost or budget in the initial days? Unless you are the discipline, unless you are the large organization. You tell me, put it in a chart, how many of your client has taken the estimation from you, or the engineer, or the architect? Engineer, architect gives the estimation related to construction, but overall estimate we should prepare it, make him to sit, sir, administration, interest cost, borrowing, no borrowing, sales projection, cash flow. Who can do better than us? Is important aspect for us to look at that, create an opportunity for us in terms of the estimated cost of the project figuring out. This is the regulatory requirement. In spite of doing everything, somehow bad luck of a promoter, the project is struck, very badly stuck. Then what happens? Section 8 comes into picture. Section 7 comes into picture, where allottees can take over the project. Friends, a big opportunity for the chartered accountants in terms of collecting the data and assisting these customers in terms of taking over the stuck project, ensure that the project comes completed by investing additional. Is another opportunity what we have. First, right of refusal or rest with the right allottees in the project, customers in the project. Builder cannot, may not give it to anybody else. Asna Cielja is asking, should max or minimum amount should be given for estimated cost? It is not about max or minimum, it's a estimated cost. Estimated generally is an estimate, but effort should be made to arrive at that estimated cost. It is not 1 lakh square feet, 2000 rupees per square feet, 20 crores is the project cost. No. Put line by line items. What is my construction cost? In construction, what is the steel, cement, sand, jelly, sanitary, tiles, lighting, electricity, mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Next comes to consultant charges, administrative charges, borrowing cost like a finance charges. All you have to put, this is towards the estimated cost of the real estate project. That is what is important. Friends, except a chartered accountant, there is no one to assist, advise in terms of this also to the promoters of the project. Engineers perfect, architect perfect, advocates perfect, but when number comes, we are the best. Chartered accountants are the best in terms of the numbers. Here is an opportunity. Every slide you will have an opportunity. Every paragraph you will get an opportunity as a chartered accountant to practice or reasons to practice a real estate and a RERA. Sir, nobody heard about RERA in my town. Then is an opportunity for you. I'm sure there is a real estate activities in any smaller place. It has gone to the tier 3 cities nowadays, towns nowadays in terms of plotting development. I'm sure everybody will agree for that. Huge money to be invested in the lands. So everyone has the opportunity. We have to see that, take that opportunity and convert as a business is something which is important as under RERA. You may ask, sir, what is available with the registration and what authority will collect the details? If you read section 3, registration, section 4, documents required to be submitted at the time of registration. Further, section 11, section 15, sorry, rule 15, 14 or 15, information to be published on the RERA website by the authorities. If you read, every information which is required to be given for your borrowing should be given there. It should be available on the website. Plus additional information also. In the state of Karnataka, if you get a RERA registration, rest assured that all the documents are available in the RERA website portal. You need not to make an advance to the customer to collect the document for you to verify the document. Go to RERA portal, download it, print all the document, go and give it to your advocate. If advocate says, then you go back and give it to the builder. I want this. To that extent, the information is required to be published on the RERA website by the authorities. That is an important aspect of it. I do not know how many of you visited your state RERA website. Please visit, experience how powerful is in terms of this legislation, this act. A small piece of an act of 92 section with the 20 pages regulates entire real estate industry. My experience of last 7 years, every aspect is covered. Whether it's a finance, whether it's a planning, whether it's a legal, whether it's a accounts, whether it's a taxation, advertisement, marketing, sales, quality, post delivery. You tell me what else is not collected, included as part of RERA. If you are a builder, every department in a real estate builder should aware about this RERA. Procurement fellow should know what quality I should procure to give the defect-free product which long last for 5 years. Your marketing people should know what should be the date on which I completed to be promised to the customer. Based on that, your operation people, your project people should work on the delivery. To them to deliver it, your accounts people should raise the demand. So it is interlinked. Possibly before RERA in a real estate organization, all the departments are separate. Now it brings together everyone under RERA to understand, see the impact of it. This is an important aspect under RERA. So there are certificate format which is mentioned, prescribed under RERA by the respective RERA authorities, wherein it mandates the promoter to submit this information on a regular basis. Nisar or Rekha madam, we are left with 10 minutes officially. I can continue to present this or I can take the questions, depends on the institute recommendation.
Sir, you can continue this.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So important aspects in the certificates, you should understand something called cost incurred. How many of you have issued the CA certificates under RERA? I wanted to listen. I wanted to hear. I want everybody to put in the chat. If you are issued, yes, I've issued. Good, I'll wait for that because it's very important because of our certificate entitling the promoter builder to withdraw the money from the project bank account. So we should be very careful while we issue this CA certificate for the purpose of withdrawal of the money from the bank. Under RERA, if you read the certificate, there is a column called estimated cost, another column called incurred cost. I wanted some of you to tell what do you mean by incurred? Which accounting standard talks about cost incurred? Which auditing standard talks about cost incurred? I wanted to listen. Under RERA, the concept of cost incurred has come. So what should be my stand as a chartered accountant to arrive at the cost incurred? Is a cost accrual. Accrued is cost incurred. Or payment made is called cost incurred. How do I decide upon? Is a big question. None of the RERA authorities have given the guidance except the Maharashtra RERA. They say how to calculate the cost incurred. It says all accrued liabilities is the cost incurred, plus any advances made to procure any of the material or services in a timely bound manner, that is called also a cost incurred. It is Ind AS 115. Hasan Khalid, I wanted to really know what you mean by cost incurred of AS 115. Good that you brought in. I am searching. Cost incurred is important. So, as a chartered accountant, I should know about this while issuing the CA certificates. Further, any borrowings made for the purpose of the project should be used only for the purpose of project. Have you seen? Many banks are behind all these real estate companies, lend, and most of the companies are before NCLT. Friends, 3 lakh crore rupees is before NCLT, which belongs to the real estate, lent by various banks. Those money is diverted somewhere. Otherwise, this money would have been in the project. Project would have been seen the light of the day. As a chartered accountant, I should also ensure that any borrowing made for the purpose of the project by mortgaging the project, that money should be used for the purpose of development only. Telangana RERA specifically has made it. Karnataka RERA specifically given the direction. So, as a chartered accountant, if not I and you, who can advise the client, who can advise the builder about this class, about the deposit of the borrowed funds to the RERA separate bank account, withdrawal of that account based on the percentage of completion, having withdrawn, this should be used only for that purpose of the project, is what is very important for us to understand and appreciate. Next, role of professionals we have. These are the 4 professions which play a very important role under RERA: a chartered accountant, architect, engineer, and the advocate. Quarterly progress report, I told you the time for you to file it, requirement of a regulatory of quarterly progress report and the annual audit report. And you should continue to use the same bank account unless you file an application for change of the bank account for the purpose of RERA. This already have discussed with you what are the content of the progress report. Audit of accounts also have told you. Then what is that? Till when I should be with RERA? till completion of the project, you should continue to be with RERA and continue to report the development of the project, continue to file the annual audit report, and on receipt of the completion certificate and all activities of the development is complete. It is not only talks about completion certificate. The planning authority gives the completion certificate for the purpose of the building. However, my project is having other aspects also, like a park, amenity, grand entry, swimming pool, clubhouse. Those may not be part of your completion certificate. You should stay back till completion of promises made, promises made in your agreement of sale, marketing collateral, wherein 100% should be completed by an architect, say 100. Till that, you should stay with the RERA. Continue to submit the information related to the RERA is what is important. So, a couple of questions. How to ensure estimate cost is accurate for recognition of revenue based on the percentage of completion? Probably Sridhar Nataraj, we should spend little more time to understand the estimated cost of the project. Even before RERA was also there is a concept of percentage of completion or completed contract method. Now it is clear that completed contract method is something to be recognized, except for the income tax percentage of completion to be offered for the taxation. My recommendation is in terms of the estimated cost, an architect and an engineer should involve. Look at the offering, look at the specification of the project. They should come out with the BOQ, bill of quantity, approximate rate, consider the inflation of 1 year, 2 year, 3 year based on the project life cycle. Add to that what is administration cost, what is consultation cost, what is the interest cost in case of a borrowing, any other taxes, cost which associated with this project, consolidately call it as the estimated cost of the project. Very important topic, important subject. As a chartered accountant, me and you can provide these services. The cost incurred is, again I told you, is a combination of the accrual plus advance payment made for the purpose of procurement of the service or the material, wherein those things are all delivered within time. It is not I paid 5 crore rupees and I'll take the material after 3 years. No. As per the standard policy, if it is delivered within 10 days, 15 days, that is what is to be considered as part of the cost incurred. Next, very important is in terms of for us is how do I do the audit? How do I maintain the books of accounts? RERA can be registered based on the phase wise. Say I have a 10 buildings. Each building I can register as a separate RERA project. I can give a different date for each project, different facilities, amenities, everything I can give. When I do that, I'm constructing 2 different towers together, but I'm ordering material together. So how do I segregate, apportion these costs? It's a question mark. Location wise, I have 2 projects in the same city. How do I bifurcate? My site engineer is the same person. How do I bifurcate the cost? Business wise, I have multiple projects and multiple businesses. I have a real estate division, I have a cement and steel division, I have a service division, everything in one company. How do I maintain my accounts? Then the group level, there is a management involved. Group, create a SPV for each project. SPV, nobody is there except the agreement between the customer, agreement with the contractor. Everything is managed by the group or a parent entity. How do I do that? This is what is important for us to understand as a chartered accountant before we advise, even before we ask the question to everybody. That's what very important for us. So please ensure you have this knowledge before you advising to the client. Then, in the interest of the time, probably I'm concluding, I'm ending with my session and willing to take any of the questions of the participants. An interplay between GST, income tax, banking, and IBC, that itself is a separate topic. In the interest of the time, I'm concluding it because regulatory requirement is something which is my topic today. I have presented it. Probably I have presented in a sequential way from the registration to the audit to the QPR to the defect liability, withdrawal of the funds, formation of an association till the completion of the project in a given time. But each of this topic can be discussed in a one day. That is my experience. That is the knowledge. That is the stuff this act has given. So act is there. Friends, I'm talking today because of not my ability to talk. It's all about the subject, all about the content of this act. Act is so much is there that made me to talk this day on this subject. And thank you so much for all your patience hearing. And over to the organizers. Organizers can allow this participant to speak or send the question and answer session, question and answers. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you continue to post in the chat. Rekha madam, Nisar, who is there, you can just take over and allow us to allow the participants to talk. Any other questions you are specifically? If the project completion is less than 25%, then no profit can be charged to the income tax. Yes. Yes, Mr. Pradhan. Yeah, there is a multiple conditions to be satisfied. 10% of the units, 10% of the booking amount, 25% of the collection. Multiple things are there. So that is what is important. Yes. Any other questions you have? How to ensure estimate cost? I told explain cost concept. I'm currently practicing in IT and GST, but now I want to start with RERA and have no experience. So how can I start? Please share your contact. Okay, where do I put my contact? I don't know. How do I do that? I don't know where Ishan Goyal from Indore. Okay. Indore is near to Delhi, correct? I'm coming to Delhi on 15th. There is a one-day session on there. Are extremely good, extremely knowledgeable speakers are there. I'm also coming as a participant. Do not miss Mr. Ishan if you are from Indore. Indore is very near to Delhi, if I'm right. Make it as an opportunity for the people who are near to Delhi. Attend the session without fail. It is again by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India only. I think Delhi chapter is hosting. One of the former member of the RERA is also a presentee. Mr. Yogesh ji is there. Gaurav ji is there. It would be a very good session for everybody to learn, clear their doubt, and gain a knowledge on RERA. Fine. Any other question? I can continue to talk till the organizers come back. I don't know. They were here and they're mute now. If any other questions, if you have, please let me know. And my mail ID, I don't know where to write my mail ID, whether it comes to you or not. I can show you on the screen. This is my mail ID and the mobile number. If you wish to write to me, you can write to me at any point of time. Give about a day or two for me to reply to your mails. If you are a starters, probably you can go through the tax guru I think I have written about 50 plus practical aspects of RERA from the registration to the completion. That would be a one guide. But however, you should look at your state related things for you to appreciate, because what we have is at the bigger picture, but again every state will have a separate thing that you should consider that. Any other questions you have? How many type of CA certificates are required to be filed quarterly and at the time of extension? Can allotee ask for QPR? How to transfer ownership of common areas to RWA? Ashish Agarwal. Section 17 of the RERA Act mandates the transfer of conveyance of the common areas to the Association of Allottees. Yes, there is a challenge under which act the business is doing is important. If you are doing under the society model wherein Maharashtra has it, Maharashtra you have it. So probably that is a one way to look at that. And if you are doing under other way, like undivided share of model, undivided share of the practices, then respective state stamps and registration department should give some direction for that. So I don't know from which state you are based on that. Date of Delhi session is on 15th. Can you please share the PPT? I will share with the organizers. I hope they will share with you. Interplay LLP Form 8 requirements and income tax return requirement regarding the appropriation of profit between the partners. You have to say what is that details. I did not understand. Pradhanji, you can explain a little more. Promoter has invested 90% of the funds. Completion certificate not issued. Whether RERA registration queue. Yes, Mr. Anirudh Agarwal. Till the completion of the project, till all the promises which are made in the agreement of sale or marketing, you should continue to be there in RERA. You should continue to be in RERA. Hello, sir. I qualified in May 24. Recently, I have appointed as a senior accountant in real estate company. How do I see or suggest about the growth I'll be having in their business sector? I am a bit confused about joining. Sirajuddin, okay, if you are a chartered accountant and if you are chosen as a part of the real estate, learning is very important. Knowing more about real estate is important. It's a very good field, very good industry, but you should be very disciplined in terms of the work you do, compliance you do it. So that's all I can say. All the best. Very good. There is a book written by me itself about the RERA. Maharashtra RERA have written, Karnataka RERA, I am the co-author. You can look at that, or you can see my the tax guru also, which is there. How many types of CA certificates are required? Eliza, there is a quarterly require. Actually, if you see strictly reading of an act, certificate for withdrawal of the funds, and second is in terms of the annual audit. These are two certificates. However, authorities do take the support of the chartered accountant from time to time to get various certificates. You get for extension, you get for change of bank account, you get transfer of project, you get something else. There's a huge many forensic audit should be done by the chartered accountant. Those are all the opportunities we have it. Okay, Association of Allottees is what entity in Maharashtra? Association of Allottees under Societies Act for the under the cooperative society model, and in terms of the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act under AOP for the Maharashtra MOA, Maharashtra Apartment Ownership Act. Yes, Rekha, madam, over to you. I'm there. I can take much more questions. I do not know the participants' interest. 7 o'clock, 9, and being the holiday or maybe the Navaratri festivals, I know that like most of you have taken your time to be part of this today's evening session. Thank you so much. Even I'm also in a mood of celebration. You can see my attire also. And thank you so much for the institute for giving an opportunity and a patience hearing to all the participants. You participated well. I can see about 48 questions have been there in the chat box. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. There are more than 500 participants over there, and it was a wonderful session. So, thank you so much for your prominent time. To all the members, thank you. Team, can we conclude?
Rekha madam, there are two requests. Do we
Yes, sir.
get the recording of this session? Second, do we get the PPT if I share it to the you?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Bye.